everyone.
I'm Tracey.
I'm Carol.
And we are My Outlander Purgatory.
Since when do you say that whole thing?
Because here's what normally happens when I don't say the whole thing. And we are My Outlander. You sit there like Baton Rouge, Cindy Baton Rouge. We are My.
Oh, please. You love saying the whole thing.
Here, you go ahead then.
Oh my God, we're done.
All right, so it is the week of episode 204, La Dame Blanche.
I just love that. I love that.
La Dame Blanche. I think I said that more or less right. So, before we begin, let's talk about drinks. I'm just cutting to the chase now. I have a good drink story, that's why.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Should I tell my drink story first?
No, because I have it right here.
Your refrigerator is fabulous. Can you give us a tour?
Oh God, my refrigerator's awful. How cute is that?
Wait, little bitty Cavit bottles, like airplane bottles?
Hi, we get the job done.
I thought you just poured some Santa Margarita though.
No, but today I was in a new liquor store and I found Santa Margarita in like this little.
I've seen that too. The King's has it.
Oh, it's so cute.
It is
you
cute.
can get liquor in your grocery store.
Only okay. This is so boring for anybody who doesn't live in New Jersey, but New Jersey is weird because you can't buy alcohol in most grocery stores. Basically, the way New Jersey works is it's a municipality thing, and for every, I don't know what the number is, but like say 20,000 or 5,000 residents, whatever, you can have package licenses and retail licenses. So if the grocery store happens to have a retail license, then they can sell it. So there are like 3 or 4 grocery stores that I know of that sell alcohol. Like the Costco in Willowbrook. Like most Costcos in New Jersey don't sell alcohol, but one in Willowbrook does. Because they must have a package or a retail license.
Man, I don't know if any, but that's why I love Florida because, man, I can get it anywhere.
You can get it at the gas station.
I was just going to say, that's where I discovered these little tiny, oh boy, that was close. Where I discovered these cute little things. They're in the gas station in Florida, and I can't even get them at the grocery store.
You guys, in every other state other than New Jersey, your taxes are much lower, and you can get booze anywhere you want it. You're so lucky.
Yes. Tracey, let's move this along because I know we have a lot to say. What are you drinking?
Okay. All right, but I have a good drink story. So a couple weeks ago, we had some friends who were on vacation, and then they left their cars at our house because we live near the airport. And they gave us, as thanks, they gave us a little gift basket. And what was in the gift basket, you ask? Well, this little bottle called Saint Germain.
I would have my pants.
So did you see? And I'm just like, I didn't
Tracey,
know what it was.
did you totally flip out?
I flipped out. They had left by that point, and I was just like, oh my God, what is this? Because I didn't know what it was. Like, is it Like, look, the bottle's so pretty. Is it perfume? Is it whatever? Well,
do you drink it? Do you smoke it?
Do you drink it? Do you smoke it? Do you put it on to entice a man?
And it can make a hat. It can make a book. It can make a pterodactyl.
Well, it came with this little tag here, and it is in fact like a who knew? It's like a mixer. It's like a drink mixer, and there's a drink you can make called the Saint Germain. See, it is with champagne, this Saint Germain mixer, and club soda, and a little twist of lime. So that's what I'm drinking. Because I figured, as soon as I figured this out, I was like, well, I'm saving this drink.
And what is that alcohol?
What?
What is that alcohol? What kind of, what is
this? This is Prosecco that I put in it. But
and
it's
what
champagne. Champagne. It's called Saint Germain. Oh, it's elderflower, syrup.
Oh, so it's not alcoholic.
This is not. This is like grenadine almost.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like a mixer, right?
Elderflower.
I'm totally growing. I got to figure out what that is and grow it.
She's like Diana at this point, or Claire.
Right? But wait, because this gets better, you guys. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna drink it on our first good Comte episode, which tonight is. But wait, so it gets even more freaky and bizarre, you guys. So today we're filming this on Thursday. What's the date? Like April 28th.
Yes.
Whatever. So I go on the internet. They have this little tag that tells you a recipe, but I go online just to see if I can find any other recipes. And I Google Saint Germain. The guy who invented this cocktail died yesterday. Isn't that bizarre?
That's so sad.
It's
Did you say he's young?
Very young. And they don't say what. That's what everything that came up was his obituary. This guy, Robert J. Cooper, creator of popular elderflower liqueur, dies. Isn't that so sad?
Very sad.
I know. So not only
39, you said, right?
Say what?
Didn't you say he was 39?
39.
Very sad.
Evidently, this was like very in like the mid 2000s. Like it sort of led this cocktail renaissance. But I just like Chardonnay, so I don't know anything about cocktail renaissance. But anyway, so in addition to toasting the Comte Saint Germain, rest in peace, inventor of the Saint Germain cocktail. This is for you.
Lord of mercy.
Schlonda. Oh my God, what the hell?
Schlonda?
I think I was trying to do like 17 different toasts in one. Schlonda.
Yeah, you have the Comte Saint Germain in your mind, and you're thinking. How did I say that? Was that anywhere near what it's supposed to be? I always wanted to take French, and Mom made me take Spanish.
I know, because Spanish is more practical. Tracey. I know. We all get the same. We all took Spanish and whatever. Alrighty. So, episode 204, La Dame Blanche.
Did you like it?
Here's what I have to say.
Read my text from while I was watching it.
Wait, I have to find it. Where is it? It's probably a bunch of text back.
You guys, I was watching last night, and I literally had to stop and text Tracey in the middle of it.
All right. I will read this. You go on. You said this is epic TV, and I said, to paraphrase.
No, I believe I said this is the greatest Outlander episode ever in the history of all Outlander episodes.
Wait. I have to.
Oh, wait. Before that, I said this is porn.
Yeah. Oh. Wait. Yes, this is the greatest Outlander episode ever in the history of all episodes. And I wanted to say, to paraphrase the great Kelly Ripa, our long national nightmare of kind of dull Outlander episodes is over. Because this one was just, strap yourselves in, bro.
Oh, God.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Well, let me tell you guys, Tom was away all week and since Sunday and just got back tonight and hasn't seen it yet. So I can't wait to sit down and watch with him because and he's read the book too. So we were all over the map in that episode. Fantastic.
Can I read this last thing that you said?
Which one?
The one about Ron Moore.
Hang on a minute, guys, because I don't want. Maybe you can cut that out. Me scrolling. Just give me a second.
It's really funny, and I think it says everything about this episode. And I have stuff to say about this episode, and I got to tell you, it's not all good. There's one very big thing that we're going to need to break down in this episode, and this is going to be a long video, so just deal with it. Take a bathroom break once in a while. That's why God invented the pause button. Didn't you find it?
Oh yeah. This
okay,
was
it says I would need to watch that shit 50 more times before I remember everything that just went down. My head is spinning. I feel like asking Ron Moore why he gave us shitty wine up front and saved the good wine until the end of the wedding.
Is it not true?
Oh my God, that's pretty damn funny. It's the truth. And I'm going to be I'm so paranoid when I like Outlander episodes because I'm always like, okay, like I really liked The Search, that was a really fun episode, and I kind of feel that way about this episode too. So I'm afraid that, like, you know, once we start seeing all the other reviews that people have to say, everyone's going to be like, this was a terrible episode. This was like this. And I'm sorry. I thought it had everything a good Outlander episode needs to have.
Listen, Tracey and I spoke our piece last week. And it's not like we certainly didn't trash by any means. We would never do that. But I think for the very first time, we really, like, not that we don't say what we feel, but gosh, I don't even know how to say it.
There were mic drops. There were mic drops.
We are diplomatic, and usually we're like, well, I might not have cared for it, but it was well done, and it was well acted, and it was blah, 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 blah. We said what was on our mind, and boy, the conversation on the blog, myoutlanderpurgatory.com, go on, find our video from last week from episode 203, and check out the discussion underneath, because it is fantastic. I've read every single one. I want all of you guys to know, because this is a very hard one to jump in and answer all of them, because they're all this long. I love you guys. They're so great. And everybody, Tracey and I, Tracey especially, I really didn't care so much, but Tracey was nervous the next day. She was like, I think we should make another video. Like, I think we should make another 10-minute video and just explain. And I like it more after I've seen it 3 times. And I'm like, Tracey, no, we don't always have to be rah-rah. We love Outlander. We love Diana. We love Ron. We love Terry. We love everyone. Come on now. We're allowed to say once in a while if we're not happy with something. Mm-hmm. So we did. This week's going to be totally different.
I will say there's one thing I'm going to need to talk through a little bit that just is not so good for me. But on the whole, it was and what Carol said, I just want to interject it for 2 seconds. That I did last week's episode. I watched it a third time, and I liked it. I liked it more the third time. There were a lot of really, really subtle things, I think, in that episode. Subtle interplays between Jamie and Claire that, you know, I was just like, yeah, but, you know, well, when are they gonna, like, you know, hold each other? And when are they gonna... Well, no, it was like this kind of interplay.
That's what my neighbor Teresa said, and she hasn't read the books. She said there was so much back and forth eye stuff going on with them. Mm-hmm. She said that, and she said that she thought she feels like we're not picking up because we've read the books. She feels like so much of it is being done to emphasize the fact that they're sort of in hiding in plain sight. That they're playing roles. They're playing roles right now because of what they're trying to do. And she's like, they can't be found out, so they have to do this, or they have to. She feels like Claire, right down to the tissue, is acting, is playing a role, and she's purposely putting it on. I don't know that that's true, but I find it fascinating that, remember I said last week, I've got to talk to non-readers. Mm-hmm. And her husband has not read the books, and she said he was kind of eh. And I think she kind of censored a little bit last season, but she said that he... as soon as he saw the honeypot scene, jumped right back on board.
Because he thought it was hot?
I don't know, because they really, you know, nothing went down. But she said he saw that scene, he loved that scene, and he's right back into it.
And I'm, yeah. I mean, were we too? I don't think we were too harsh. Okay, I'm going to say one thing.
Heck no, we were not too... When have we ever been too harsh to these people? Come on now.
I mean, I was pretty harsh with the last episode of last season, where I really had some problems with how that all went down. But I'm going to say this. You know, everyone's always like, the book is the book and the show is the show. And I get that to a certain degree. I do.
But we're still allowed to be disappointed, guys.
But, you know, we can't just, like, sit here and pretend that we haven't read these books a whole bunch of times, and that we don't have a certain image in our heads of what the characters and what the events and what the settings and the relationships between people are like. And I get, look, I don't know. I mean, and Carol's going to glaze over right now for a second, or either like slap me. I work in education, and any of you who work in education or are parents are likely familiar with what's called Common Core. Hmm? So, so, and a lot of the Common Core, trust me, I'd like to check it right out the window opposite here. But one thing that your children by 6th grade, 7th grade are doing are studying the way a text is adapted for another medium. So they take a book, the text of a story, and a film or a play or an audio version of that story, and they look at similarities and differences, and they look at the elements of each medium and why maybe something works in a text but doesn't work in a filmed version, or vice versa. Or they look at choices that directors or actors made in taking the material from the text and bringing it to the other medium. I mean, they do this in school like every day, you guys. So I was really thinking about this. Like, you know, I tried to keep them as separate elements, but I don't think it's a bad thing or an unacceptable thing to look to synthesize both of them together and look at the similarities and the differences and evaluate which one, which one you relate to more or you feel more strongly about. I really am going to gag myself here, but like, if you can, back up your opinion with evidence, it's valid. It is. I know. Sorry, guys. It's been at work too long. I thought you were throwing.
I don't even think it's an.
But that's the thing. That's what I just wanted to say. Like the whole book TV. Now what? I'm sorry.
I'm being a wise ass.
What?
I said I'm being a wise ass. Finish what you were saying, and then I'll say.
No, that's all I'm saying. Is that keeping the book and the TV and the series very separate and on separate tracks. Yes, and I think we all try to do it as book readers, but it's not easy to do. A Jamie and Claire divided at this point in the story for us is very difficult. So y'all just have patience with us, but also it's not a criminal offense to compare the two.
Right, but honestly, 95% of the comments on myoutlanderpurgatory.com, which I don't think we throw in there nearly enough.
And YouTube and Facebook, too.
No, I'm talking about myoutlanderpurgatory.com, which, let's see, has been in existence since 2009. And we always do Facebook. I'm on Facebook. You're on Twitter. But the blog is where all the comments are coming in that I'm talking about.
No, YouTube has a lot of comments, too. That say the same thing.
Okay, so like 95% of the comments that I have seen, and I haven't checked as much on YouTube, I have to go do that, are, in agreement, and they don't have to be. I'm totally good with people disagreeing, but I don't really see how anybody can disagree with my opinion as far as how I felt. I feel how I feel.
I agree.
And you don't want to hear the condescending, the show is the show and the book is the book. Duh! You know what I mean? Like, I know, and I know Diana said that, and I know, and anybody who said that on a comment, don't think I'm talking to you, because I don't, at this point, remember who said what. It's awesome. So many people commented, and I love you guys. But it's just for us, last week was just difficult. That's all. That's all. It was just difficult, but we're out of that stretch, so let's
do it. Let's do it. So our writer is Tony Graffia. Our director is Douglas McKinnon, a new one this time. I believe that Mateen directed the first three. So we're on to a new director for this episode. So then
Do you think they knew? Do you think they knew, like, brace yourselves, we got to brace ourselves because episode 3, they're going to be mad at us, but by 4, they won't be mad at us anymore?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think that there's a lot of people who aren't mad. I think that there's a lot of people who, who like the up. There was, I think a lot of people on our site agreed with us more because that's why they would be on our site, because they
True.
like
Great point. Great point.
But I read a lot of really good things about the episode too, and like I said, I appreciated it more third time around. Okay, so anyway, we have lots to do. Oh my god. Okay.
We are a half hour in. I have finished an entire glass, and we haven't even started breaking it down yet.
Okay, the Easter egg made total sense after you saw everything, but because on the second viewing,
I loved it.
On the second viewing, well, I didn't love. I mean, it's like when their carriage, because their carriage was sabotaged.
I know, but I took it more as, did you see how they were fixing it? And I took it like the cog in the wheel, and the cog is Jamie and Claire, and that has to work in order for all of this to work. That's how I took it.
No, I took it as like, because
well, that's at face value. You took it at face value that the carriage broke down.
No, the carriage didn't break down. Somebody sabotaged the carriage.
Right.
Because
well, that's
you saw
what I'm
the
saying.
guy with the strawberry mark or whatever you call that.
But that's not, that to me, that's not surprising. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but what I'm saying is you didn't know that. You had no idea what was going on until you actually see it way later in the show.
Right.
You're just like, okay, I didn't really get the significance, but okay, I guess, whatever. So we open on Jamie and Dubonnet with a twist, as I call him, finance guy.
So sick of him.
And were you like...
Yes. I was like, I can't even believe... First of all, like, get rid of this guy. And second of all, why are you so tight with this guy who was, like, all over your wife?
Were you like, people, did you not watch our video last week?
And sometimes don't you
cut the show?
Don't you just want to take Jamie and go, like, enough?
Yeah.
Enough. Okay, he's with Charlie and ugh.
All right. So
we gotta fast forward and get ourselves to the Bonnie Prince because I am falling off my chair.
All right, they play chess. They're talking about babies' names. So
okay, stop. I have a note written down for that.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make mention to you guys. This is not really about the show, but just the fact that they were going. I don't know what they were saying. I don't even remember what they were saying about the name, but. When we had my daughter, and I didn't know if she was a girl or a boy yet, or maybe we were just talking about, I don't know. Tom's cousins were over from Scotland, from Paisley, and I was saying that I wanted to name a baby McTavish and call him Tav for short. And they thought that was the most ridiculous thing they had ever heard.
Oh my God, because then it could totally have been named after Grandma McTavish.
Well, and they were Scots. So I thought, like, ooh, maybe they'll think this is what will they? I wanted to know what they would think. They were like, what?
I love that name, kind of. I think that's a cool name.
Don't you think Tav would be a really cool nickname too?
Yeah.
So,
oh well.
All right, next.
Anyway, so Claire's like, yeah, I'm blowing this popsicle stand.
Oh, wait. I love how Jamie's all buddy with this perv.
The finance dude's a perv?
Yeah, isn't he the dude that attacked Claire in the beginning, in the first episode? Or in the episode?
Yeah! Oh, he's such the bud now. I, completely forgot about that.
That's why I just said, I can't believe he's so... I get that he's got to, because he's got to do this and that, but I'm like, oh my God, this guy attacked your wife.
I totally forgot he was pervy. I totally forgot. He's, completely, a new guy now.
I'm trying to pop my ears.
He's met Jamie Fraser, and he's turned over a new leaf.
Yes, and if I look weird and I'm going... It's because I'm trying to pop my ears.
Okay, so Claire blows the popsicle stand, walks around, grabs a glass, takes a slug. Clearly, she's been poisoned.
And what did she say she thought it was?
Oh, it was the Cascade, or whatever.
Well, I have this series, so it came out Cast Garret.
Master Raymond talked about it last week.
Well, all I know is I love how Claire's all, perhaps bitter cast, whatever. I go, like, Jamie knows what the hell that is.
because Master Fraser, Master Raymond was all talking about it last week.
Yes.
So that's how she knew. That was one of those, hey, everyone, you better listen up carefully because you're going to need to know this at some time. Okay, so wait, but I missed also God, the Comte is just like so hot. I can't even stand it.
Yeah, but
he
I
comes
hate.
in and he's
not.
first of all, I love that he never speaks English ever. I think he's spoken like a phrase in English, and I love that he comes in and he's like, "Said that you would be beaten in 2 moves" or whatever he says. Like it's too boring to watch. Like he's so like above everyone.
Yeah, but when I think of him now, when you're talking about him, like when he's on the screen, I'm like, yeah, hot, but I hate him. So to me, somebody has to be like beautiful on the inside and has to come out. And I hate him anyway. But when I'm thinking about him, when I'm listening to you talk, I am literally. Do you know who I'm picturing? Who's the British guy who's like does characters that are ridiculous and makes these movies based on these characters? He's like a comedian.
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Ricky Gervais?
What?
Ricky Gervais.
He's a comedic actor bordering on. He's a comedian and he's British and he does these crazy outlandish movies about. His movies have gotten him in trouble before.
I have no idea.
Oh, God. I'll think of it. Keep going.
All right, okay. So anyway, so they take Claire out. They take her home. She's feeling better, whatever. So Jamie and Claire make a plan to have a little dinner party.
Sorry.
Very good. And invite, like, because they're like, yeah, we need to get Prince Charlie to make a fool of himself in front of the Duke of Sandringham. I know, let's invite them both to a dinner party. So it's all good. And they're all feeling like comfortable and Claire's like, yeah, okay,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're not all anything. Claire's pretty much taking a shite in her pantalones.
Right.
And he's like...
Got something to tell you. And he's like, woohoo!
Let's have a dinner party. And I also have written down, I guess Claire had already gone to see Master Raymond at this point.
No. We're still early on. This is like the second scene. No. That's coming next. I did a pretty good job of like being pretty specific. So Jamie's all like, this is wonderful news about Blackjack because now I get to kill him. Yeah.
I thought that was awesome, and I have written down. Sam looks. I think this is when you texted me a picture from the day before when you were watching it. Maybe that was that morning. I have written down. Sam looks exactly like Jamie when he finds out about Blackjack Randall being alive. So go back and watch it again, guys, and take a look. I guess that for me was like I saw Jamie Fraser. Like I was like, whoa. And you had texted me a picture, and I think it was the same scene. They have a close-up in his eyes. I'm like, that's my Jamie. That's my Jamie. Oh, my God. It was
There's
really
like
creepy.
a publicity picture from this week. And it is. I texted to Carol, like, that's Jamie right there. Like,
right there.
Yeah.
Great minds.
Yeah. So... Okay, so he seems to be cool with it. I just have his hair looks so great tied back. You can see the little black bow. It's just like, please do that all the time. Whatever, it's so great.
Oh, my non-reading friend said that. She goes, what are they doing to his hair? Just leave it back. Put his hair back and leave it.
Great. And then they're all like kissy, and like Jamie's kissing her belly and stuff. So they look like, they're a little more together, whatever. They've got this, like, plan going, so that's all good.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Wait, the Comte reminds you of Sacha Baron Cohen?
Like, I see him as a character. I see him as, like...
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like a caricature.
Okay. I see... Borat, and, like...
Borat, thank you.
And, the other guy that he is, like, is he in Zoolander, or...
Yes, he's in Talladega Nights.
Yes, yeah. I was going to say he's some nemesis of somebody.
Shake and bake him.
Like
we could do a whole video on Talladega Nights. Woo!
John would be in that video.
I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey. Chip, I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
Okay, so now we get to the point where she goes to see Master Raymond, and she's all like,
okay.
What's up with that? Like, who did you sell that to, bitch?
But before she gets in there, I saw her once again go up the stairs in her gorgeous dress. And I thought to myself, is it possible? And I hope everybody knows, like, I think Terry is just as much godlike as everybody else does. So when I say that she's very bright and nobody else is, that has nothing to do with how ridiculously stunning those costumes are. But I guess my question is Master Raymond in a bad area?
No. I think he's right in this like little town square where there's like.
So, don't you notice that everybody's so drab? Because I thought, well, maybe it's a poor area, and
it's a costume choice.
What?
It's a costume choice. It's just that's how it's crafted or laid out or whatever. I mean, I noticed that Claire is wearing brighter clothes than everyone else because she's wearing but it's not because everyone else is in black and white. It's that they're in more muted tones maybe, and she's in like jewel tones. So she stands out.
That's my point. Could you please tell me, are we, again, I'm sure they are following exactly 18th century clothing, but it freaks me out that sometimes she looks pregnant and sometimes she doesn't.
Oh my God,
because
yes.
I'm like, I remember Mom telling me 4 days before she had me, and she was pretty large, she went to some function that she couldn't get her girdle on. And I'm like, a girdle when you were about to give birth? So I'm sitting here thinking about Claire in these dresses, and like, it's not like they have a high waist where then you protrude underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pushing, I'm like, where's little baby in there? You know what I mean?
She's always much bigger when she has the Mrs. Roper robe on. Don't you notice that? There was another shot.
Tracy,
shot when she opened that door.
She is so Mrs. Roper in that robe. She's Mrs. Roper. But I just want to know, I've been sitting here trying to get this off the whole time. But when she's laying there, with obviously like the prosthetic on, she's looking so pregnant that I'm watching this thinking, how are you hiding that underneath? She looks so thin sometimes.
I think it's a body double, but we'll get to that. I wonder if it was. All right, well, we're in Master Raymond's now. And anyway, so they go into the back room. Oh, Madonna.
This is Master Raymond.
I like that. See, now this is great. And this is right out of the book where that he calls her Madonna.
Madonna. Jamie doesn't.
Call her Madonna?
Yeah. Any of that stuff. But remember Diana came out after the first or second book and said...
Sassenach? He never calls her Madonna. Jamie doesn't call her Madonna.
Jamie did in the first book. He would call her Neon Dawn or whatever it was.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. No. Madonna is like Madonna. That's
I
the
know.
word.
Yes.
Jamie is using the Gaelic for, like, my brown-haired lass. And I thought today, I don't think I wrote it down, but I missed the Gaelic.
I totally missed the Gaelic. What happened there? Do you think that they just said, not working?
I think there was one exchange of Gaelic between Jamie and Murtaugh. Anyway, so they go in the back room, and Claire's like looking around, and there's like skulls or whatever all over the place and whatnot. And Master Raymond says the first of several very interesting things in this scene. So Master Raymond says, Claire's looking at all the bones, and she's like, oh, look at this is really cool. And he says, I'm fascinated by things not of this time. Very interesting. Very interesting. Fascinated by things not of this time. Anywho, okay, I just wrote that down, so I thought it was interesting.
Is your thing making sounds again?
Yes, just I don't know what to do. I have my appointment with the Apple guy next on Monday, so.
Sorry, guys, if you're hearing feedback. We had this problem last week. We're gonna fix it.
Okay. So Claire's all like, yeah, I'm all worried about stuff, and he's like, oh, well, here, like, do this, roll these dice, and then, they're not there, and then she looks again, and they're there. She's like, how'd you do that? It's like, trade secret. And then, so she has to roll the bones, or the...
Where are we going with this?
Whatever they are. She rolls the bones. No, because she wants to know about her friend, Frank.
Oh, yeah. My friend. Yeah. And after having seen the first episode, we're all like, oh.
But I gotta say, so she rolls the bones, and he's like, oh, well, I don't know what's gonna happen to him, but I know you'll see him again. And Katrina's face, it is worth it to go back and watch that part, if you watch nothing else again on this episode, to see that woman and her reaction. And she at first she's like, oh, and then it hits her what that means.
That was your fake Jan Brady face.
That was fabulous. Fabulous.
That was your fake Jan Brady face. Not the real Jan Brady, but the girl who played the fake Jan Brady. You were like this. I wasn't wearing my glasses. Her face fell. But I found that so interesting because she's always about Frank in this time frame.
Yeah.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, Frank. But then he says, oh, you're going to see him again. And she's like, what you talking about, Willie? Like, she was like, oh, I am. Like, didn't you feel like she was like...
Well, no. I mean, what I felt like was the realization that, like, it's not as important that I'm going to see him again. It's important that means I'm not going to be seeing Jamie.
I'm going home.
So then Master Raymond gives her this little necklace that's like turns color. It's like the mood. It's like a mood necklace.
I was like, did he just give her a mood necklace? Is she gonna like have to touch it between like English class and science to see if Timmy Smith digs her?
Yeah, so like if there's poison around, the mood necklace will change colors. Or, if she's feeling really, really pissed because, why doesn't Timmy notice her?
I love if there's poison around, like they said, if it is anywhere near poison.
But I gotta say, I love Master Raymond. I loved that whole scene. I thought it was great.
How can you not love? He's so awesome.
When
How
he
can you
made
not
that
love Master
her at the
Raymond?
end, like I was like, I love you. You're just awesome.
Well, you know what? He loves Claire from day one, from second one. And when you read the books, if any of you guys haven't read the books, it's Claire's point of view. So you're like reading this as Claire. So, you're still a stranger in a strange land. And Master Raymond makes you feel comfortable from the second he's introduced.
Mm-hmm. I'm never really that big of a Master Raymond girl in the books, but I like Master Raymond.
Oh, I love Master Raymond. And for the same reason I just told you, Master Raymond is like a slice of home.
Yep. All right, so then next stop on our rounds is we go to Louise's house. And Louise has a cuckoo clock. And they're all like, ooh, look at that. It's cuckoo.
Louisa, you ignorant slut.
So she sends Mary Hawkins off and tells Claire that she is knocked up with a mystery man's baby that is not her husband. And
Don't
Claire
kill
says,
me. I'm sorry.
Is it you?
You're going a little fast for me. Let's slow it down just a little. Which is usually I'm like, move it along.
I'll remind you of this, but it's like, well, we've been at this for 2 hours, and you're like, oh my God, I have to come back.
Well, I have to tell you this, that I have written down. I'm like, Tracy's going to die, but I'm going to save this for the video so everybody else can hear it and crack up. Something about Master Raymond is reminding me of NPH.
Neil Patrick Harris?
It's eyes or something. Like, I don't know. Go back and take a look. And something about Master Raymond last night, I've never seen it before. His eyes were reminding me of Neil Patrick Harris.
Suit up, Claire.
Oh, Tracy.
This bitter cascara is legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
Think of me as Yoda. Only instead of being little and green, I wear suits and I'm awesome.
Tracy, you and I, great minds, because I have written down, I love how Siri, I love how Claire is all, oh shit, about the fact that she's going to see Frank again. And then I'd feel the same way.
We already went through that.
You're going too fast for me. You are going through that. I'm trying to keep up.
Okay, can we go back to Louise's house now?
Louise was nice to Mary. She was kind of motherly. When she told Mary, like, go in and do whatever. It was insignificant. But I remember last week I was hard on Louise because I said, she's not being nice to Mary.
Louise was like, go off and feed my monkey so that I can be alone with Claire.
But, that's what it was. She said, don't put your fingers in the cage because she's afraid she's going to get her fingers bitten. So I thought, okay, that's motherly. It's all I needed. I need someone to be motherly to this poor girl who's been shipped off to France to go marry the old guy with the warts.
Right.
Okay?
So yeah, like I said, Louise, go ahead.
Now go ahead. I'm gonna jump on. I'm ready.
Right, Louise is now knocked up with a VIP who is not her husband. Sound familiar? Claire was like, Gillis? Is it you? Is it really you? Yeah, now, what were you going to say?
All that matters is that the child is brought up with love. How would I raise a child with a man who's not the father? Yikes, yikes, yikes.
I typed it in. I stopped the video and typed it in. But how will I raise a child with a man who is not his father?
I'll tell you how.
All is that the child is brought up with love. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm thinking that you might have to do a spoiler alert there.
Well, no, we know that happens because we saw it in the first episode. Frank is gonna have to raise a child with him. Claire's gonna have to raise a child with a man who is not his father.
Yeah, but at this point, non-readers are like, "What's going on? She's pregnant. She's not."
Who, Claire?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pregnant,
and they're confused. Non-book readers are confused. She's more pregnant now, and then she's pregnant then, and it's confusing.
Well, all right, it will all reveal itself in due time. So yeah, that was pretty. There's a whole lot of like foreshadowing all over.
How come I haven't seen you drink?
Look, I'm half done.
That was so funny that you. Was that peer pressure on my part?
Come on, Tracey. Everyone's doing it.
Take a hit. It's only pot.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we're getting into some interesting parts here. So Jamie gets home. Claire's already asleep. And Jamie is in the mood. But he's already been bitten. And Carol and I have not talked about this at all. And I am dying to know, based on Carol's reaction to things in other books that, like, I won't even go into.
Right.
Okay. So I'm just gonna let's just sort of summarize what happens, and then we'll discuss because there's some things I need to discuss in this. So, so Jamie gets home. He's in the mood, and they start to get busy. But then Claire finds these bites all over Jamie's leg. And he's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, oh, that's from Madame Emily's. That's that brunette whore. And he's like, oh, no, it wasn't that whore. It was another whore.
Keep talking.
Okay. And she gets really mad. I can't really keep talking because she has to be here. Now, maybe I can't do all this. She gets really mad. Jamie gets really kind of upset. Jamie tries to tell Claire how he's been feeling. Claire, they're both angry. Jamie goes to sleep off in some other room. I don't know where. Claire ends up, I guess, thinking things over, goes in, joins him, drops trowel, so to speak. They do it. It's all good. The end. So.
The end.
I wrote down things like during all this, but I don't even know where to go with this.
What did you want to
know? He's already been bitten. So what I wrote down at first was, is Jamie really that dumb? Like, just tell Claire what happened at the whorehouse. Why aren't you just saying, like, a whore, bit me and I shoot her off or whatever. He never actually says, like, nothing happened. Does he?
Well, yeah, he does, yeah. He finally, I'll give you he's acting like a dumbass. Like, why would you even tell her that whole French for 69 thing if you don't expect her to, like, it was really dumb, but I don't think he was quite coming off as were we supposed to think he was drunk?
I think maybe a little bit.
I
I don't really know.
But I don't think that he needed to get into the semantics. I think he could have just said, like, oh, somebody tried something and I pushed her away. And
right. No, but he just kept being like, no. I mean, who would say, oh, no, it wasn't that whore, it was the other whore? I was like, how dumb are you, Jamie? Come on. Like, really?
If I hadn't read the books and I was the just non-reading audience watching this show, I would probably be annoyed as all get out, as as you mentioned that I could be. But here we go again with I know the backstory, and the bottom line is this is one of those instances where you just have to trust.
Right. I think that this is hard for us as book readers because they meshed a lot of different parts in this scene, right? And they took some parts that are meant to be very comedic, like the bite marks, and they took some other parts that are meant to make you cry, like the fortress. I have to say,
yeah.
I have to say, and I'm not even sure I love the way they did it.
I was confused the way it was done. I was like, oh, is this that? Oh.
But I fist pumped anyway. I was like, fortress, yes!
I gotta be honest, I had a hard time this episode in certain spots understanding them. Like, I need to go back and watch it again, and I'm like, I might turn closed captioning on. Like, I just...
Well, it's on half the time because they're talking French, so there you go. But they took a lot of pieces of different parts and put them in this scene. And some of them, like I said, are supposed to be comedic, and some of them are supposed to be really poignant and vulnerable.
Tender.
And it's hard for us, the book readers, to strip away all of that intent from the text, if you will. And kind of like pull it all out and accept it in this new version of a scene.
It's just hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
Not that we're unhappy, at least me, just it's difficult sometimes to... Yeah, it's hard to reprocess.
I don't think this is a spoiler because we've already talked about that it happens in the first book. That whole, I feel like, I'm a fortress and it's blown up and I'm like standing there trying to like find a leaf to hide under. Jamie actually talks about that right after he's been rescued, and he talks about it he doesn't even talk about it to Claire. He tells, does he tell Claire this or does he tell, no, he does, I'm sorry. He does tell Claire this, but it's in the point where he's really, really trying to keep it together and not lose and not go into the dark place. He's really struggling. So there's such a vulnerability and a poignancy about it. And like one thing I noticed in my second viewing is that in the show, he's as he does the monologue. I mean, Sam is so good, but the choice is to be kind of not angry, but like, this is what's happening, Claire. Da 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 da. Whereas in the presentation in the book, it's very like small boy almost. Do you know what I mean? Am I making any sense at all? Like it's very,
yeah.
He's really upset and afraid and scared, and like they're struggling so hard. So it did work. It's a great monologue. Yeah, it's a great monologue. What I wrote down here is, this is so good, and Sam is so good. He didn't need the stupid horror mix-up story for it to be effective. Like, I just thought that the horror mix-up was just dumb.
Yeah, but that was part of the story.
But it didn't work in this really serious. It worked when it was like, "What, you were with her?" Oh, like it was kind of a pissy fight in the book. That was kind of a non-fight. This is a real, make it or break it moment almost for that.
Okay, I'm going to say something now. I think that Claire, I couldn't believe that last week I was so, what a bi. Whereas this week I was like, you tell him, girl, you go. When she was like, for months I have been. She had me immediately. I was like, right, exactly. You've been waiting. You've been patient. You haven't said anything. And she had me in that scene with her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she was so good. So right on. Anybody, I was going to say any woman, but really anybody who is in her position would have been the same. How dare you come back here after all this time of brushing me off? How dare you come and flaunt this in my face? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. She had me right away.
Yeah. I have some problems with Jamie in this scene. I will tell you, and I haven't hit the biggest problem.
He was a little immature, little baby, like brat. Like,
right. Which is why
I think he's spending a little too much time with the Bonnie Prince.
Right. Even as I was happy about the Fortress monologue, which I adore in the books, I felt like it didn't work in anger. It didn't work in that scenario for me. It works better in exhaustion, and it kind of, not like it was wasted, because I just wanted to hear it no matter what. But okay, here's my big thing with this whole scenario.
Can you tell us your whole thing with this scenario?
No. Here's my big thing with this scenario, and it's something I just need to work through and figure it out. And tell me, because some people agreed with me about the Murtaugh, he would never talk to Claire that way, thing. But I think most people didn't really care. I think it bothered me a lot more than it did a lot of other people.
Which is totally fine. It's your opinion.
Totally fine. This is what bothers me about all of this. So, what's cured Jamie is the knowledge that Randall is alive and he's going to get to kill him. Suddenly, Jamie learns that he can exact some revenge and can now get it up. Sorry, that's a really blunt way of putting it.
Blunt way of, what did you say?
I said,
I heard the whole revenge. What was the last part?
It's a blunt way of putting how I feel, but like that's how it's striking me. That like, so you mean that like the fact that there's the possibility of killing Randall, of killing Blackjack,
mm-hmm.
is what Jamie needed to feel like a man and feel like he could now, I don't want to be coarse on our show, or coarser than normal, but like
our show,
get it on with his wife, and well, let me practice with let me just test it out with some horrors first. But no, now that I know Blackjack is alive and I'm going to get to be the one to kill him,
mm-hmm.
I hope the Sassenach is ready because I'm like ready to go. Really?
You know what I think?
Did you feel that way at all?
No, because I think it's all about control. And he all of a sudden in an instant finds out he can have control over Blackjack Randall all of a sudden. And now he's able to actually breathe and see life the way it was. Because before he thought that Randall died and he didn't even get to see it. He didn't get closure. He wants closure. And the only way in his mind right now, as a Highlander in the 18th century, his mind is that the only way to get closure is to stick a knife through this man. And he had no control during that whole episode. The control was stripped of him, and that's what's eating him up inside. But finding out that he's going to get the control back, there you go. I mean, do I think that in real life it's going to happen in an instant? Oh, I can have control? Claire, get over here and take your shift off. No. But at the same time, you know, for all intents and purposes, I mean, for the TV show, you're supposed to once again suspend disbelief a little bit and realize, okay, he also wasn't right away. He went out and did his thing with Bonnie Prince and had women in his face all night. I mean, somebody posted on the blog the other day on a comment, like, it was cute. She said, like, you know, has anybody else noticed that their husband's a little, for lack of a better word, frisky after, I don't remember what the word was, but after watching Outlander? And men are visual. I mean, he went out and he saw this bouncing around in front of him all night and is realizing now that he's almost giddy. Like, that's what he knows. What Jamie Fraser knows, I want to take this thing over to my replica sword over there. He knows how to put a sword into somebody and do them in. And that's what he's now knowing. And it's the power is coming back.
That's released his ability to, you know, relate to Claire?
Sexually, yes.
I would say this is very sorry non-book people, but that's a very, very different approach from the book.
But you also have to remember this is the 18th century, not the 21st century. When a man was a girl.
I get it, but well, no. I mean, you know what? They play that card when it's convenient. Like, I actually have written down here where Claire is all like, you know, Jamie, we've never talked about it. Like, what's happened to you? Like, that's totally 20th century. I wrote that down. It's so 20th century.
Interesting.
And maybe she's coming at it from a 20th century.
Yes. My non-reading neighbor, once again, I should just say Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody from now on, Teresa represents my non-reading neighbor.
Everyone, Teresa.
Teresa loves Outlander, okay? She felt, what did you just say? Because it went right through.
I'm going to say, I summarized.
Now I'm saying that's Teresa, or was it somebody else I know who didn't read it? Anyway, somebody who didn't read the book said they didn't feel like Claire comes off as 1940s as much as maybe at least 1980s or beyond. And that's an interesting point because we just sort of lump her in with the 20th century. But, you know, like you just said, we haven't talked about this. You know, what point is that really?
No, in the century woman would never say that. Would
a 1940s woman say that? Come on now.
I don't know. But that's a good point. I mean,
and a 1940 English woman.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is a 1940s English woman going to be all we have to talk about this?
Right.
No.
Right. It's reflecting a 21st century perspective.
Do you remember when Mr. Morris, our neighbor, died?
Mm-hmm.
Lord of mercy. Lived behind us. They were from England. What?
He was British. That's why this is related.
They were from England. Our neighbors growing up, they lived behind us. They were from England. And she went back to, I loved her. And I remember Mom saying something about she wasn't overly, obviously upset. She was upset. She mourned quietly, you know. Mm-hmm. And I remember Mom saying, Carol, she's English. She's British. They don't do what we do. They're reserved. They're more reserved than we are. You know, and she told her that. Mrs. Morris told Mom that.
We don't lip, if you will.
We don't talk about these things. We kind of, and this is that was in the 1980s, 1990s. This is in the 1940s. So what you're saying is right, but at the same time, would a 1940s English woman really be all, we haven't talked about it? You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote this. This was the one note that I wrote last night when I watched it for the first time. That the fortress story and everything else in that scene still doesn't justify the bite marks, and he can sleep with Claire now because of hate. The fact that he can kill Randall makes him suddenly not impotent anymore. That was a question. I'm sorry, that was like really stream of consciousness, but you get the point. Like, I have to process this whole idea of like the fact that I can exact revenge, like, now makes me able to sleep with my wife. And I think to your point, I think that the whole control thing is probably a large part of that. You know, this whole feeling like a man, and that could very well be. I mean, I think that's probably just a guy thing, like 18th century or 21st century. So maybe that's a way to approach it, that it doesn't bug me so much. But I felt like, well, you know, yeah, Claire, I totally can, like, you know, get it on now. It's, you know, thanks to you, because you told me this news about Blackjack, and all of a sudden, like, you know, I get to kill him and have sex with you. Awesome.
I don't, yeah, but it wasn't like she told him and then he was like, let's go.
Well, he kind of was.
But see, this is what I said to you. Excuse me. Did he really, did he come off as drunk? Because we know he was wasted when he got home.
With the bite marks? Yeah.
He was wasted, and he did, that's from the book, he did have a bite mark. I mean, it happened. Mm-hmm. So I think that it was all of that combined. The alcohol, the visuals, the stimulation of the visual stimulation of seeing all this, like I said, bouncing around in front of you. And combined with that feeling of that power back again, that control back again, combined with these women sucking up to you, oh, it's a terrible phrase, I didn't mean to use that, but kissing your ass and telling you how wonderful you are and trying to get with you, and it all sort of jived. You know what I mean? So for the first time in months and months and months, he's not feeling like as much of a small, you know, boy hiding behind the blade of grass. He's all of a sudden feeling like, you know what? I'm going to kick your... And he's drunk and he comes home. That's the way the psyche works.
I guess. I mean, it's a helpful thing to sort of like think through. I personally prefer the book treatment where he worked out
where there's an exorcism that involves opium and lots
where
of
his ability to be intimate with Claire is not tied into his ability to kill Randall. It's two very separate things in the book, and I have some thinking to do about that. But
do you think it's a matter of they figure we don't have the luxury of the pages and pages and pages of explanation, so therefore we're going to do it in a way that the audience can grasp?
Yes. And it just it's at the end of the day, or at the end of the episode, it made me think. I walked away with the Comte being hotter than Jamie at the end of this episode, and that's why I think that I had a real problem with it. No, right?
I am.
And that's not really true. I mean, of course, like whatever. But I'll be curious. We have to move on because we're over an hour now.
I'll gross you out more than that. I almost think Fergus is hotter than all.
Oh my god! Oh, we got to get there. Because I have things to say about that.
One thing I have is that Jamie looks like a Harlequin romance novel dude in the scene where he's talking about Blackjack with Claire. I think it's a little bit after this, but when he had the white shirt that was undone to like here, I was like, cue the Fabio heroine.
I can't believe it's not bothering me.
Like, what the hell? He looked great. Don't get me wrong.
He looked really good in this episode. He did. He did look really good. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would like to hear what people have to say about that whole scenario because I had a very visceral reaction to that in the same way that I did with the Murtaugh stuff last week. But anyway, they're back in line. They're like this again. It's good. However they had to get there.
And during, I was going to text you about this. During when, first of all, where are you right now? Or do we get to the knocks on the roof?
No,
like
that's where we're
Rudolph?
there now. Let's move on.
Okay. And they're also having a wee dram. And I'm like, damn it, now I want those glasses. Did you see the glasses they were drinking out of?
Yeah. But they don't seem to be very good Scotch glasses. Like they're basic wine glasses with the sort of nubbin at the bottom.
Oh my God, they were gorgeous.
I just had to type. I had to say. I think.
No, not the little ones. He had. Oh, hi. That's a little more than I needed to see. Anyway, keep going.
Right.
Keep going. I'll stop you if I.
So knock on the window.
Oh, those the
Charles
fluted ones. The fluted ones.
Yeah, right. I don't remember those.
Okay, knock on
Charles
the window and Bonnie. Let me talk for a minute.
Okay.
Bonnie first Charlie, and then you boom, 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 boom. It was like Rudolph meets Salem's Lot kids. Think about that for a minute. It was like Rudolph is on the roof. Remember Salem's Lot when those kids were outside the window, like.
Open the window, Mark. Open the window, Mark. Please. Let me in.
When they were hanging there.
Or like every episode of True Blood. So I wrote this down.
Sheriff of Area 5.
It was so funny when Charles is like, I do not usually arrive without ceremony or at such an unsocial hour. I fell on my floor. He's so great. He's so great.
I keep thinking, what does Louise see in this idiot?
I know. Oh my God.
Why doesn't Louise go and find herself some Comte Germaine? I mean, really? What are you doing?
Plus, her husband is like nothing to shake a stick at. Louise's husband, who we see later. I'm like, really?
See, that's what we need to get into because I have questions about that.
Okay. All right. So Charles is all bummed. Claire puts two and two together. Chuck and Louise sit in a tree. So Jamie and Claire hash up another plan. They're like, okay, we'll invite her. We'll announce the pregnancy, and the shit'll fly. It's gonna be great. So next day, there's like a big explosion at the docks or whatever, and like they're like carting in people into the hospital. Claire's got to go. When did Mary start working at the hospital? All of a sudden, she's there too, and I'm like,
yeah. Do you think they cut something out with like Claire saying, "Oh, would you like to work with me at the hospital?"
I don't know.
At the hospital.
And then we get to the scene with Fergus and Murtaugh, and all I have to say is that in my notes in capital letters, I just said this: "Oh, for the love of God, how perfect is Fergus!"
I can't say what I have written down because it's a spoiler, but
I thought you were going to say it because he's 10.
I don't care. I don't care. Hey, man. Yeah.
That whole scene was so great. That child, and I'm sorry I don't know his name, and I'm not going to look it up because I don't want to take.
My God, isn't he beautiful? This child.
He's beautiful.
His face.
Every line that comes out of his mouth is perfect.
Yes.
When he's talking about like all the things he noticed about Mary, and she's sad, but she's also happy because she's in love, and this and that, and Murtaugh's like, whatever. How do you know? And he's like, duh. Her face is sad, but she's wearing perfume, and she's this and that. I was like, oh my God, I love you. You're so good.
All right, let me just tell everybody out there who isn't a book reader, welcome to Fergus. Because you're going to get a whole lot more of that.
It only gets better from here.
Fergus knows ladies. And that's why.
God. Fergalicious.
The kid is growing up. Look at me. The kid is growing up in a brothel. Need I say more? Come on now.
Okay, then we get some hangman's grease, which is disgusting. I love Mary too. The casting is so good. Mary, the funniest thing. I mean,
they were rendering dead men who were hung.
Yeah, it was fat from the dead men. Hangman's grease. But there were so many funny parts of this episode.
So they were like cutting them up and taking the fat.
Yeah.
From humans.
Yeah. from
I mean,
criminals.
I know they do that from like the dead deer on the road or
Yep.
like the squirrels. Because anytime you go to an Arpon meeting, they tell you all about render.
Never been fun.
But
I just thought it was so funny when Mary's face, and she just goes like this. So
Mary's
many funny moments in this
I'm
episode.
gonna go wash my hands. And I love how she's like, I'm gonna go wash my hands. But I'm thinking, where? It's the 18th century. Where you go wash your hands?
Okay, so it's time to go home. They're really late. The wagon's broken. We're gonna have to walk. So the party starts. Now, is it just me? Am I the only one that laughs? That Prince Charles comes in. Am I the only one who laughs hysterically every time he says, "Mock me"?
I am going to start saying "mark me" every day. Every day, I'm going to start saying "mark me." Charles is beyond ridiculously amazing. Every time he said "mark me,"
Mock me.
I was like, I have to start saying that.
No. No. Here's what you have to do. It's a drinking game. Every time Charles says "mark me,"
Mark me.
It's the new Outlander drinking game. The parish version.
It's also the new Outlander shirt, apparently.
Mark. Oh my God. Oh, I think the mop shop needs some Mark Me shirts.
I just came out with that in the last 5 minutes. I'm sorry, did I say minutes? I mean seconds. And I also have written down, did we meet Alex yet? Because I have, oh my God, Alex looks exactly like Blackjack. Creepy,
really
creepy.
does. I saw it this time. I saw it tonight.
Really does.
He really does. He really does.
I'm so glad they didn't. I know there was talk for a while there about the music Tobias.
Give him another job.
That would have been a creep show of epic proportions. I'm sorry.
That would have been like the Patty Duke show.
Oh, Patty Duke. Lord of mercy on it. That would have been almost like one of those puppet shows that like Claire and Murtaugh were doing. Like,
I know.
It would have been like Tobias as a lady, Tobias as a man, Tobias is this.
Okay, so yeah.
Mark me. Mark
Alex.
me. Mark me.
Mark
It
me.
would have been weird.
But you have to say it like this. I can't even do the way he does it. It's so great.
Okay, but I'm an American, so it would sound really weird if I did it like that.
Okay, so then Claire and Mary and Murtaugh are attacked by some masked banditos. And we see that one of them has a big, like, port wine thingy on their hand. So they attack, and I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's that they're after Mary specifically, or that Mary just gets to go first, and Claire is going to be the one, that goes next. But they pull off her hat or whatever, and they see who she is, and they're like, oh, "It's La Dame Blanche!" Go away, and they all run away. So clearly, we're not sure why she's called La Dame Blanche, but I don't know. She's got a rap.
I had to laugh because they're all La Dame Blanche, run! And they take off, and Claire's so not scary at this point. She's just like, get out of here!
So I forgot that I think Sandringham had come back in the party at some point, but he invited the Comte to the party. So the Comte comes.
No. He took the liberty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's associate.
Carol, mock me.
Oh, mock me.
That's what it is. The inflection's really high up. Mock me.
He's like, but mock me. I have to say that 18 times tomorrow. Love it. I want all of you guys to say it too.
Let's all do it.
Let's do something where like tomorrow at noon.
Let's
all
say hashtag. Let's get it trending.
Noon Eastern time. Mock me. But you have to say it. Mock me.
All
He's like borderline, it rubs the lotion on its skin. I'm waiting for Precious to come up here.
I'm not putting that video in again. We already did that. Okay. So, oh, you know what I said? Claire, whatever happened to Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ? Like, this would have been a really good opportunity to do that somewhere. I just missed that. Like, I missed the Gaelic. I missed the Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ, whatever.
Didn't she say it in episode in season 1?
She did, but she hasn't said it this season, and she said it every other word in the book.
Don't I look like I could be at their table?
I'm still working on this.
Mock me. Tracy, you and I have the exact same notes. It's like uncanny.
Yeah, I do. Right now, well, now I'm getting to my Alex really does look like Blackjack Randall.
That's my name.
I know. Dinner is served. Okay, what?
Wait. Oh my God, Jamie's eyebrows during Charles's kiss on Louise's hand is priceless. Then the next thing I have is, oh my God, Alex is like the anti-Black Jack Randall.
He's scarily looks
But
like
he
him.
looks like him, but he's the exact opposite. He's so good and sweet, you know?
I know.
But
So
but
Go
he
ahead.
looks like him, and he sounds like him.
Mm,
That casting is sick good.
no, it is sick good. So they brought Mary upstairs. I forgot that part, but she's up in the bed.
Yeah.
She's got
During
some-
the book, excuse me, am I right that I remember it being almost, God help me, forgive me, I don't mean to say comedic, but almost comedic?
Yes, because I just read that part. Because I finally was like, look, I'm just bringing the book downstairs. And I'm keeping it next to me just in case I need it. And I read that part just now before we did this. And it goes down pretty much the way it does in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
a
great.
good adaptation.
I thought that whole thing brought it all together.
Mm.
Before the dinner party, you're like, this is the greatest episode ever. And then the dinner party happens, and you're like, how much more from this book can they possibly stuff into this episode? And I love it. I love every second. It was
All right,
so.
we're almost at the end. So they serve dinner, and
And how and why is the Comte sitting next to Claire?
yeah, who arranged that? Like, Claire's probably like, who did the seating chart? Which bitch did the seating chart?
Claire's like,
Suzette,
Claire's
did
like-
you do the seating chart?
yeah, she's like, damn it, Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ, I should listen to Jamie and get home earlier than sundown so I can do the seating arrangement. Because now I've got the Comte next to me because some idiot in the kitchen put him there.
And that table, do you notice, like, they set the table, like, halfway through the show, they're setting the table, right? Well, it just kept expanding and expanding and expanding. Because I took a note the second time I watched it. I think there was, like, 12 seats around the first time, and it ended up being, like, 20. So, like, they must have just been bringing
The first time I was like, that's
and
not
their
it.
friends.
Yeah,
and-
I was like, this isn't enough for all the people they have out there.
Right, I know.
And how did you, it reminded me of the narration in, like, The Year Without a Santa Claus or one of those Santa Claus shows where it was like, well, now they're in quite a predicament.
See, I felt it was like, okay, Jamie, my Uncle George is visiting from, neighboring Rome. Do mind if I bring him along? Like, I don't know. I don't think I can come because, we have house. Bring him along! Sure,
No.
Claire won't mind.
It was more like, Jimmy, I hope you didn't mind. I took the liberty of inviting the Comte and his girlfriend du jour.
Mark me. Jamie won't mind.
Mark me.
Oh, my God.
And how about his face when in she walked? Now, this is my question, because we're past when she said to Claire was like, how's it going? And she was all, did she tell him? Now listen to my whole question before you answer me.
Okay.
Did she tell him we had a drunken night of passion? Or did she get him drunk and have a drunken night of passion?
I think she told him we had a drunken night of passion.
So, okay. All right.
That's what that was the impression I got.
So she's sitting there at this table with, kind of Hottie McHot pants.
I know.
And she's got Mark me across the table, being all, well, girls are so fickle. Mark.
Child.
Oh,
Awkward doing Julia Child.
I made the boil.
Save the liver.
Julia Child presents the Chicken Sisters.
We've got the beef, and we've made the bouillon. And mock me. So these all girls are fickle, mock me. And she's sitting over there like this. But I couldn't tell if the look on her face was like, oh God, like don't be upset, or oh God, shut up. Or a little of both.
I think it's a little both. I think it's a little both.
And I'm thinking to myself, what are you thinking? Look at hubby and look at that.
Hell, her hubby, like, hi. I mean,
How do you make hot
the
pants?
hell?
Yes.
Hell. I mean, he's no, like, Mr. Duncan, of Gillis's husband, who was, like, flatulent all the time. This guy looks pretty good, you know.
Oh, and how about it? I'm totally backtracking. I'm sorry, I know. But the conversation...
We're at
I guess-
122, just FYI.
What?
We're at 122.
Good, we weren't that long last week. How about, I mean, we were longer last week. How about I think it was back when Fergus and Myrtle, like, Myrtle said something, and Fergus said something about, who's the girl Myrtle's been hanging out with?
Suzette.
Yeah, and he's like, anybody who walks by her door.
Oh my God. I just want a t-shirt with all the things Fergus said.
Oh
Just
my
that's
God.
it.
Frankie
Right.
say, forget Frankie say, it's Fergus say.
Fergus said. All right. Focus.
And the last thing I
Almost there.
have written down is Fergus and the dinner and the wine was
Well,
priceless.
wait. All right. So wait, I do want to pay tribute for 10 seconds to Simon Callow, who is just, again, like, I keep forgetting how great he is, because he's just
He's
great all
my
the time.
north, my south, my east, my west. Remember from
Sandringham,
4
he
Weddings
sounds-
and a Funeral?
The best, again, like, I don't know who had the better, like, reaction or look, whether it was Mary Hawkins at the, with the hangman salve
Oh,
going,
yeah.
or salve going, or Sandringham after Chuck goes, mock me.
I just pictured Peppermint Patty calling Charlie Brown Chuck.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm like laughing so hard. Oh, I didn't even get it out. He goes, when Chuck goes, mock me. Oh my God. Oh my God, guys, I cried laugh so hard. So, he goes, mock me. Are you married, sir? And Sandringham just looks at him like, the look is like, how dumb are you? Oh my God. So funny. Oh my God. All right, tell me, is my
I know.
eyeball running
See-
off? All right.
I know, you make me want to like... Sandringham is, I know, and I'm noticing that I'm doing this through this whole video, so now I'm like, ooh, hold this back. Sandringham is like, you believe this guy?
Have you met me before? Oh my God. So funny. So funny. Okay. So they're all bantering at the table, and then they start hearing screams. Well, Mary Hawkins has woken up, found Alex Randall, like, pretty much on top of her, going, darling, 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 I love you so much, darling. I'll always take care of you.
Wouldn't you think Claire would have warned him?
Well, she said, because this is what I read in the book, actually. She said, don't give her too much of whatever the hell, Percocet or whatever she's given him, her, because it causes visions. Well, in the book, it's clearer that she's like having some sort of a vision or a hallucination from this medication. So in any case, but it doesn't help that like Alex is practically on top of her, and so
Well, this is what I'm saying. Didn't anybody warn him? Like, look, she's going to be really skittish, so don't.
no, I don't think Claire really did. Claire just said, "Don't give her too much of that, whatever it is," because
And wasn't Sandra him wondering where the hell is Alex, or was he not supposed to be at the dinner table?
No, Alex was eating with the butler. Remember? That's what Sandringham, when he first came in, was like, "Death, like go make yourself useful." And Alex was like, "Yeah, I'll go eat with the butler. I'll go eat with Mr. What's his name?" Alex
Go like this.
runs around after her. Is it really? Am I really like? Hold on
You're
a minute.
okay, but you had some black in your eye from crying earlier about mock me.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, so I'm like exhausted in that way when you like laugh so hard. Now I'm exhausted.
I know. Oh, you my face.
But we're done. I mean, like, okay, the big melee ensues. You know, everyone thinks that Alex is raping her. They're like, get
Oh,
off.
that was awful. Did that happen in the book?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's a big.
Did they think that he was
I
doing?
think so. Yeah. Jamie does get into it with the father and the suitor or the fiance.
That's another thing. Oh, and Murta came along, and I was like, "You go." He was like, "Don't fight without me." What? Who were they? He was fighting the fiance.
The father, and then probably just like a bunch of other people.
What father?
The father of Mary Hawkins.
Mary See, this is where I'm so clueless. I didn't even know Mary Hawkins' father was there.
Her father and her or her uncle. Sorry, her uncle.
I'm going to watch this again tomorrow night with Tom.
Yeah. It was two dudes that are related to her. One was the fiance, and one was like the uncle or the father or whatever. But the best once again.
Everyone, I hope you got that. Two dudes.
Fergus sits himself. Right? What?
Fuck me.
Fergus sits himself right down at the table. Is like, "Cheers, bro." And that
Went
was
straight
so
to the vino.
It was so hilarious. And that's it. The only thing I skipped was I did write my second to last comment is sorry. In a hot off, Comte takes this round. When he's sitting next to Claire and he's giving her like snide remarks about like, oh, poison, that detects poison. I would be careful. That sucks. Like that you have to like wear a poison thing. Like maybe your cook is like trying to poison you. Blah 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 blah. He so hot. Sorry.
I don't find him hot anymore because he's such a douche.
And it has to do with the French too. Like speaking all the French. I'm telling you, it's like that scene. Did you ever see A Fish Called Wanda? Did
I ever see it? What are you kidding? I like wrote it.
When Kevin Kline like speaks, I don't even remember what language it is that he speaks in, but Jamie Lee Curtis just can't resist it. It's like that's with me and the Comte.
He's speaking Italian, I think.
Oh, okay.
But then what's his name at the end is speaking Russian. Whoa. And she's like,
so that's it. So, again, I would be very curious to hear what people thought of this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Oh my God.
It was a lot of something. I think it was an episode that would make book readers happy. That it had a lot of that was missing. It had the humor. It had the intimacy between Jamie and Claire, even though I need to work it out a little bit. It had adventure. It had intrigue. It really did it moved the plot along. It had a lot of cool flashbacks and whatnot. It's good. It was a good episode.
It was, you know what, my comment is going to be, it was fantastic, and it was just what we needed.
Yes, I agree.
And now we're back on track.
Yes.
And now we can face the show because they're going to face the world together again. And that's really all I care about.
Yeah,
as long as Jamie and Claire are a team and are working well as that team, I'm happy no matter what's happening.
I agree. I mean, I have a problem with how they got there, and I need to process it more, but the fact is that they're a team again, and and they're connected. And that's, I guess, all that matters, really. Mock me.
Tracey? Mock me.
Mock me. Mock me. Mock me. Mock me. Mock me. Mock me. Mock me.
Oh, I am so going to make some kind of soundbite tomorrow out of that.
All right, we have got to cut this off because we're actually only at 1:32. So,
All right.
but I have 2 more episodes of Gilmore Girls to go in the entire series. I'm gonna have to go watch them.
Okay, I was just going to say, can I have 30 seconds and without you making fun of me?
Sure.
Do you want to say your Gilmore Girls thing?
No, I have 2 more episodes to go. That's it.
Okay. A lot of you guys are turn Washington. I almost said Washington's fans. Turn Washington Spies fans. And the premiere was Monday night, and it was so fantastic. And all I have to say is this. I hope that you can see this. Okay. We've got a little George Washington, Ben Talmadge in the middle, Benedict Arnold. Okay? Tracey, you look up at this screen right now. Hang on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Oh, my. Tracey? Mock me. You need to get your ass back and watch this show.
Okay,
all right?
maybe that would be my next.
It was so fantastic. If anybody wants to talk about it, just email me. I want to make one of these videos for Turn. That's what's killing me, is that I can't make these videos because you don't watch it.
And I want to do it for Gilmore Girls, but you don't watch that.
I know, but Turn has something to do with Outlander, whereas Gilmore Girls, I'll watch it. I'll totally watch it.
It's really
Do you
good.
think Tom would like it?
Maybe.
Annie was telling me years ago to watch this.
I can never peg what Tom's gonna like.
Do we want
eclectic taste.
Do we want to stop this right here and have a quick little 2-minute discussion on anything spoilery, or are we good? Or do you want to cut it off and have a discussion on some other things that are non-Outlander related?
No, I want to kind of go to bed.
I want
I'm
to
really
go to bed
tired
too.
after my laughing fit.
I want to go to bed too, but here.
I don't think there's any. You know what? I think that this episode was really true to the books, in many ways. A lot of the plot, a lot of the things that drove the plot forward were all right from the book. And that's it. I don't think that there's many spoilers we need to talk about.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Mock me.
So, let us know what you think of the episode and of our thoughts in the comments. Comment on the blog. Comment on Facebook. Comment on YouTube. We read them all. Comment on Twitter. It's a little harder, like we say, because it's shorter. But
Sorry it's so long, but when there's so much happening in the episodes, we just sorry. So a couple people are like, you go on and on, I love it, whatever. So
right. And I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of podcasts that are like 2.5 hours long. You have to listen to it all at once.
Yeah.
Someday we will figure out how to make this. Would like to do that, to make this a podcast that you could like get in iTunes.
I had us on the other day. I was literally emptying the dishwasher.
Right. And
I was listening to last week's at the same time. And I was like, wow, this is like I'm Not Me. And I'm just like watching. It was cool.
Yeah, no, hopefully I can figure that out at some point, like how to turn this into a podcast that you can subscribe to on YouTube or something, and you don't have to watch it. You can just play it in your car. But you can just play it in your car anyway. Just don't look at it.
Right.
There's some days where I would advise
I can do that tomorrow if you want. You want us to be in a podcast, I'll put us on a podcast.
All right, we'll figure it out. Okay, you guys, that's it. We're out of here. Mock me. We will be back next week.
Yeah, mock me.
And we will talk to you later.